May 26, episode 636. This is episode 636. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. Shall we? Woman used Instagram to lure two teens to deadly ambush.
According to the affidavit, a confidential informant gave a detective direct information that Angie Morales allegedly used Instagram to lure the victims over to the complex to be robbed and killed. When detectives pressed Morales for information, she denied knowing anything. The affidavit states data collected from Gregorio Ricardo Cordova Mejia's phone shows he communicated via Instagram with Morales minutes before his death. Police say Morales set up a meeting and provided him the address, building number, but not apartment number.
It's not clear what led these young men out here in the early hours or late hours, whatever you want to call it. Most times it's sex. Once again, let me be clear. It hasn't been clarified that it was sex that brought these young men out, but that always seems to be the best bait. It's in no way limited to just sex. People will say just about anything. They'll promise anything just to get you to come out. Now, as far as meeting these girls, meeting these women, if they have meetup in their bio, that's a red flag, head for the hills. If they're offering to meet you, if they're inviting you to come to their place, you got to ask yourself, why aren't they apprehensive about bringing strangers over? It's because they're not scared. Someone is going to be waiting for you. You're a random guy. They just want you to come out. That's a red flag. Stop falling for this. People are dying. These women have enough options in actual real life, despite the role they portray online. They're not lonely. They don't even want to sleep with you anymore. That part is dead. They're just trying to get you to wherever X marks the spot. A Texas woman is charged with capital murder in the deaths of two teens who were shot and killed in 2022. Angie Morales, 21, she was 17 when it happened, is charged with capital murder of multiple persons in Bexar County, Texas, according to jail records. According to KSATWOAI and the San Antonio Express News, the charges against Morales stem from the deaths of Gregorio Ricardo Cordova Mejia, 19, and Angel Ray Garcia, 15. Cordova, Mejia, and Garcia were found dead early on the morning of July 29th, 2022 in San Antonio after shots were heard per the outlets. Both have been shot multiple times.
Police say a confidential informant told them Angie Morales had colluded with others to rob the teens, and those other people were the ones to actually kill Garcia and Cordova Mejia. The informant gave police Morales' Instagram username, satx.angie. Investigators checked Cordova Mejia's phone and found he had been communicating with that account, which had set the meeting with the building number where the teens were killed. The last message came minutes before shots were fired, with Morales telling Cordova Mejia to wait and she was coming out. Police say the name and birthday tied to the Instagram account is the same Angie Morales the informant had identified, and a number associated with the account is the same one the informant gave them. And the phone tied to that number was in the area of the murder when it occurred.
This is indeed a very sad story. My condolences go out to the families of those two young men that lost their lives. And as I'm sitting here writing to this story, I'm reflecting, hence the name of the show, Reflection. I'm thinking to myself how times have definitely changed, because being young and naive is so much more costly than it was when we were teens or in our early 20s. The saying used to be, you live and you learn. Now it's a question of, will you even live in order to get wise from the mistakes that you made? Will you you even live to learn to grow from the things that you have done in your past? You might not even live through it anymore. In an affidavit cited by 3 outlets, a confidential informant came through and allegedly linked Morales to the 2 murders. Mind you, this happened back in 2022. So this had to be some sort of cold case, and this person must have just came through with this type of information. Morales is reportedly accused of using Instagram to lure the teens as part of a robbery plot with those car wash flaps over her eyes. Sorry, there's not a lot of chuckles in this story. She just looks perpetually exhausted with those graduation tassels hiding her eyes. Police found that Cordova Mejia had been messaging Morales minutes before he was killed. The Express News reported, citing the affidavit, when the teens arrived at the apartment where they had expected to meet Morales, the affidavit reportedly alleged that she told them she was stepping out. Now, if you missed all the other red flags leading up to this, this is your last chance to see that final red flag and get the hell out of there. Shortly before shots were heard. Now, it's reported the shots rang out just before 3 a.m. So we're dealing with a time where everybody's not meant to see everything. They know nobody's outside. The teens were subsequently killed by the individuals Angie had colluded with to rob them, police said in the affidavit, per the Express News. You're just a cute face. All we want you to do is troll the internet and look for people to meet up with. You won't have to sleep with anyone. All you got to do is just get these guys to come to wherever X marks the spot, and we'll give you a cut of whatever we robbed them for. If you think that's not happening. WOAI reported that witnesses said they saw 2 men running from the scene.
The suspect, Angie Morales, is facing a charge of capital murder.
This doesn't bring my son back at all, but it's a step closer to closure. Our family lives with this pain every day, and we just want justice for my son.
Morales is the first arrest in this case. Police say they can't confirm any other suspects, but this paperwork does mention multiple other suspects, and there's even someone else's name in here. But because they don't appear to have been arrested yet, we aren't releasing it.
Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. Yes, the charge is capital murder, absolutely. But since Angie was only 17 when this happened, she can't be up for the death penalty. It's against the 8th Amendment. Now, she can still be tried as an adult and sentenced to life with the possibility of parole. My hopes are in exchange for a chance for her to salvage some of those years, she'll give up the shooters, and we'll find out that they're actually old enough to qualify for death row. Barefoot suspect in $90 million Minnesota fraud scheme captured hours after fleeing FBI and caught on camera escape.
His name is Muhammad Omar, and this video shows the moments after that jump you mentioned. He runs around a fence and then hobbles away. Investigators say he ripped off taxpayers by exaggerating how often he cared for patients and even claiming to help someone who was actually dead.
I want you to get a good look at him right now. You'll see him. You'll see him running here.
The man on your screen limping away while holding one of his flip-flops is Muhammad Omar. Federal investigators say this surveillance video shows the moments after he jumped off a 4th-floor balcony to escape. At one point, you see him fall and lose a sandal before he gets up and hops away.
Out of the overall $90 million, they're crediting him with pocketing about $3.6 million. And with all that money, he couldn't bring himself to buy a proper pair of sneakers, boots, shoes, or something to run in. His footwear of choice remained a raggedy pair of slides, and it came back to bite him because they betrayed him almost immediately. I'm just saying, if the FBI is on my ass, I'm going to have a fresh pair of Timbs, Reebok pumps, or something, and I promise you, they're going to be laced tight. Y'all are too lax out there. A Minnesota fraud suspect who leapt from a 4th-floor balcony to avoid arrest Thursday morning has been captured. This is why drug dealers buy all the dope sneakers, because in case they have to run, they want to make sure their footwear is top quality. After today's interagency press conference announcing 15 public health care fraud indictments in Minnesota, the below subject who was on the run, Muhammad Omar, has now been arrested, Patel wrote on X, including a photo of the suspect hobbling while holding one shoe or what's left of one one shoe.
In court records, federal prosecutors say Omar and another man received more than $3 million in false and fraudulent claims. In one case, prosecutors say the pair billed Medicaid for 92 hours worth of home health care services for a dead patient. The feds say Omar used the taxpayer cash to invest in property in Kenya and lease a Mercedes for more than $60,000.
This is indicative of a societal issue, and I'm not talking about the scamming. The scamming is the backbone. It's the lifeblood of the American culture. I'm talking about all you folks out there walking around in slippers and slides like the world is your living room when the aliens, when the zombies, when the YNs, when the cops, when the robbers, when the cowboys, when the Indians come for you. Do you really want to be wearing sandals? He's charged with healthcare fraud involving a housing stabilization services company with fraudulent claims for services not provided and diverting the proceeds for personal benefit. The FBI director added Omar and the other 14 suspects are accused of bilking taxpayers out of $90 million by defrauding Minnesota's state-run Medicaid programs, who kept authorizing them to get more and more funding. These people are just a symptom of a bigger problem. We need to know who gave them the money and who continued to give them the money and to what end.
Muhammad Omar jumped from a fourth-floor balcony to avoid arrest. FBI Director Kash Patel says Omar was arrested within 2 hours after agents executed a raid tied to the fraud crackdown. Omar now charged with healthcare fraud involving a housing stabilization services company. The FBI says he submitted fraudulent claims for services that were never provided. The FBI has surged personnel and resources to Minneapolis beginning last December to investigate large-scale fraud.
Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. That money was proposed for. It was proposed to be intended for children with autism, the homeless, disabled people. So if you see the correlation there, these are all groups of human beings that society at large really doesn't want to. They're reluctant to deal with these type of people on a day-to-day basis. Then you got general Medicaid recipients and child care and early learning programs. Any one of these alone is a monumental task to take on, and the government threw a bunch of bread at a group of unlicensed crooks and left our most vulnerable demographics at their mercy. Nobody was qualified to do anything but forge paperwork and cash checks. This is how greedy these folks were. With all the help that's needed for these groups, they could have used just a small portion to actually do what they proposed, to actually help them, and ran that scam for at least another 10 years. Fun show. The music for this episode is from Iggy Beats. Get your music from Iggy Beats. I'll leave the contact information down here at the bottom. If you're a producer and you would like to have your music featured on an episode of this podcast, reach out to me on any one of my socials. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials. Find me wherever you listen or watch your favorite podcast. I am there. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Jusqu'à la prochaine fois.